Today on the Chat and Chew Show.
Especially with the situation of Breonna Taylor, that was so complicated because I was looking at that situation forwards and backwards, and I was like, Josiah, what if that was you? What if you had a warrant and you thought this was the right address, you were following orders, and you ended up taking someone's life because you thought it was the right thing to do, because you were told this is what you had to do. And just like living on both sides of that pain as a woman of color is just so, it's so complex at times.
Love can be complicated. Some people made a list of qualities for their ideal mate and found the right match, while others say, when it's the right person, you'll just know. Well, today on the Chat and Chew Show, we are joined by Jada Smith and Josiah Mort. Jada was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and at the age of 13 moved to California with her family. Jada cultivated her gifts for performing and storytelling by studying acting for the stage and screen at Azusa Pacific University, where she earned her Bachelors of Fine Arts degree in 2019. Josiah was born and raised in Atascadero, California. He grew up in a family of 11 children. In high school, Josiah was a part of the Junior Olympic Frisbee team, allowing him to play Frisbee professionally across the country. Also graduating from Azusa Pacific University in 2019, Josiah majored in criminal justice with a minor in leadership. After graduating, Josiah moved to Kansas City, Missouri, and began working in law enforcement for the Leawood Police Department. Get comfortable, Chat Tribe. You do not want to miss a minute of this beautiful love journey.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Chat and Chew Show. My name is Betty.
And I'm Roxanne.
And we say this every week, but we are super thrilled that you've decided to join us. As you know, the Chat and Chew Show was put together to give people tips and tools and tricks and things that they can do to improve their relationships. And we say often, we're not just talking about romantic relationships, although that's important. We're talking about any relationship. You're in a relationship with your, I don't know why I want to say your dog walker. That's a new one.
Yeah. That's a thing. Yeah.
I need you to walk my dog properly, right? You could be in any kind of relationship. You could be an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, an employer, an employee. And we want to give you tips and things to think about to improve your relationships. And so that's why we're here today. And again, we're excited that you're with us. Today's show is going to be so fun, exciting. I think it's going to be thought-provoking. We have a couple with us who have a unique situation. I don't want to give it away yet. And then we're going to be talking about them. They're actually engaged to be married. And we're going to just talk about just in general how they met and then some of the challenges that they will be facing. So this is going to be an excellent show. So we want you to hang on.
Okay, welcome back. And as we mentioned, we have some cool guests with us today. We have Josiah and Jada joining us. Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. So we would love to know, how did you meet?
Am I going first? Okay. So Josiah and I met in undergrad. We went to Azusa Pacific University. And Josiah was a transfer student, actually. And so it was my junior year where we actually met. And I remember going into the library because my younger sister at the time was a freshman there, and she had more dining points for food, and I was hungry. So I went into the library because that's where she was, and she was in a study room working on a project, and Josiah happened to be in there. And so that's where we first initially met, was in the library, just that fall semester. And then over time, it just kind of led to other. I don't know.
Well, we would see each other on campus. We'd run into each other at different places, and then we had other mutual friends. And so we started kind of hanging out or seeing each other more often. And then there was one night I was talking to some of her friends, and she
Uh-oh.
asked for
Wait a
my
minute.
yeah, no, but there's like in a good way. So she asked for my number. She asked them for my number, and so when they asked, like, "Oh, Jada wants your number," I was like, "Oh, okay."
So I kind of made the first move, like the first tiptoe.
Wow.
Did you? Okay, hold on, because people are out in these streets trying to date and stuff right now. So what made you say I'm going to make the first move?
Well, okay, so what happened was, I was in my feelings one day and I was like, it's probably nice to date, I don't know, to my sister. And then she was like, well, what about Josiah? And I was like, And so then after that, the seed was kind of planted. And you're not really thinking about something, and then someone like kind of opens your eyes in a direction. And I was like, well, he is really nice. Like, okay. And he was very friendly. We had created mutual friends at that point, and we kept interacting with each other in small ways. And so I was just like, well, I'd like to get to know him more. And so I keep running into him. I might as well give him my phone number, see what happens.
Wow.
So
I'm impressed.
I'm a little bold. Maybe that's not the best way for everyone, but I don't know.
So Josiah, did you just happen to be around, or was this like purposeful? Did you already have your eye on Jada?
It's probably half and half at first. Like we would see each other around. There was one time like I knew where she was, so I went there to study. We're in like it would be the
Really?
no, yeah, what's it called? The break room.
Oh, okay.
So Jada was an RA, so she had to be at a certain spot. And then when she let me know she was going to be there, I showed up one night to study there with her. So there's small things, I had to see, I like the energy, see what it's like to hang out with her. So I tested it out.
That is so funny.
I know.
How did you guys realize that, oh, we got something here?
I think for me, it's like you see something in someone, like a lot of little things that build up to their character and who they are. And so I think the biggest thing is I remember having like a breakdown. Sorry, it's getting kind of deep early on. But anyway, I was just, at that moment where I was just like, man, I've just gone through these failed, I don't want to call them relationships, I'll say situationships, if you will. And it was just to the point where I was like crying with my friends one night. And I was like, I just want to be seen. Like, I just want to be with someone that's willing to step in my world and understand who I am versus me constantly having to cater to them. Wow. And then for Josiah, seeing him in like BSA meetings, like the Black Student Association meetings on campus, and being at the time was a predominantly white institution, and seeing this guy who's white enter in this world with all these students of color and just listening and having fun and not being uncomfortable, I was like, whoa, like a lot of the white guys on campus don't come to BSA meetings. Like, why is he here? Like, why is he so interested in easily integrating himself into what could be this other world? And so I think for me, that was interesting. And then just how fun he was and kind. And every time I would see him, he had a smile on his face and was like, hey, Jada. And I was like, there's something about this guy that's just like, I don't know what it is, but I like need to get to know him more.
Wow. Yeah. How about you, Josiah?
I guess in a lot of ways it was quite the same. Like every time we talked, it was like fun or like some fun conversation or something weird happened, like in a good way. Like Jada's always doing something like tripping and falling and just laughing, or something that's funny. So yeah, I guess when I got her number, we started texting, and then we really started hanging out the week of finals week of that semester. Yeah. Where I had to study and she did not have anything, but every night she was in the study room with me studying. So that week, like, I like being distracted when I'm trying to study too, so it was good. So just to be able to talk and just laugh and have fun. I think that was what really drew me.
That's so sweet. Also, you guys missed during break. Like Josiah did this whole like hair thing during break. And I feel like he did that like when they were dating to be like, yes, I'm here.
Fun fact, his hair used to be a lot longer.
Oh.
There was a lot of like, that little hair flippy thing happening.
Now I have a pretty serious question. Have either of you ever dated outside your race before?
No. Well, for me, and Jada was my first girlfriend, first person I dated. So I guess the answer would be no.
Okay.
Yeah, Josiah was my first serious relationship, and so like I talked to guys before that were of all different backgrounds, but like in terms of my first serious relationship, Josiah was the first. So I've only ever experienced dating someone out of my race.
Wow. This seems so interesting to me, is that it doesn't seem like your race is an issue at all. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about this the other night because like we were just in processing today's conversation, and I think it just depends situationally. I mean, like where we're at, but I feel like in terms of us and who we are, it doesn't have an effect here. We can't necessarily control outside forces and the world and other areas we step into, but in terms of our unit and our family, it's just like we're just Jada and Josiah. And obviously, like our race and our background, our culture affects who we are and how we were brought up in our worldview. But yeah, I feel like in terms of this, it's just it's seeing who he is and him seeing who I am and all of that, what encompasses that, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure it does. Yeah, that's huge. What did your families say about, now Jada, I know your family real well. But Josiah, I don't know your family at all. What did your family say? Like, first of all, you bringing this girl home. You got a girl, and now she is not, from our family or from our race. What did they say?
Well, I got a big family, so I got 5 brothers and 5 sisters, and so when I first told them, I mean, I was telling them I was talking to somebody. I don't think we were dating at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were excited. I don't think the race thing mattered at all. At least I didn't. Like they didn't tell me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they felt welcome.
Oh yeah, absolutely felt overwhelmed.
Well, just a lot of people,
because it's a very, like but my family, we're very small.
My family's very hospitable, and so they probably really, really, really welcome me.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys have 11 kids in your family, Josiah?
Yeah, I'm one of 11.
Oh my. Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Now I know I'm so excited to hear that you guys kind of got this all worked out and figured out too. But like you already mentioned, when you get out into the world, it's going to be different perspective and mindsets and things like that. So I'm excited to hear that you guys are like, hey, we cool. I can't control what y'all think about, what we're doing or whatever. So Josiah, I know have you finished your school yet for law enforcement?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
I'm now working.
You are now working. So Josiah is a police officer in Kansas City?
Well, it's right outside of Kansas City, right outside the metro area in Leawood, Kansas.
Okay. So everybody knows we've been gone through some civil unrest and racial tension this year. And I'm just curious to know how in your relationship you've been able to navigate, police officer, Jada, you're a Black female in our country. How have you been able to navigate that? Now, again, I know between you two, you're like, we're cool, but just the outside opinions and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we've had a lot of conversations, good conversations in the last year. But how I view it is more of like, I'm in a position to make change or help create change. So like, I think a lot of our conversations are like how we can do better, or how often police officers can do better. And like, I would say, I don't know how to say. How I would say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of like talking about both sides and being like, well, this is what we can do better for the future. Kind of looking more for the future and seeing how like things can change going forward. Because I was in the academy last summer, and so in the academy we also had discussions there as well. So I would bring back a lot of our discussions we would have in class about certain instances, and I would be discussing it together.
Yeah.
Jada, how do you feel about it?
It was very difficult, especially because while he's in training was when we were kind of at the climax of a lot of the unrest, like this past summer. And so for me, it's like, I love Josiah and we're now engaged and I'm taking on the role of becoming his wife, which will be his biggest support in his life. And so it's like, I am on two sides of just the pain of being a part of a community that has been so hurt by law enforcement and police brutality and just the history of racism in this country. And then so I'm carrying that fear and anxiety, but also I have anxiety for his life out on the field and figuring out where those both live, because they're sort of at opposites, where it's like, I want everything for my people to be better in this country, but also I want him to be safe. And especially with the situation of Breonna Taylor, that was so complicated, because I was looking at that situation forwards and backwards. And I was like, Josiah, what if that was you? What if you had a warrant and you thought this was the right address, you were following orders, and you ended up taking someone's life because you thought it was the right thing to do, because you were told this is what you had to do. And just like living on both sides of that pain as a woman of color is just it's so complex at times. And so, that's just something that I'm kind of wrestling with. And again, we have a lot of conversations together and just listening to each other and being patient with each other. And, because we both agree on the issue, it's just sometimes we have different approaches of how the best way to resolve things. It's like he'll be like, no, this is the best way to bring peace. And I'm like, no, that's not it. We need this. We got to be on the ground. Like, this is it. And he's like, no, as an officer on the inside, I think this is the best approach in helping people. And I'm like, no, you don't know. And he's like, I kind of do. And I'm like, well, I'm Black, so I know more. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's just like, but just to be transparent of just, sometimes just the butting heads of that, because we both are coming from different perspectives of the same issue.
Yeah. Wow. It seems like you guys have got it worked out. And I think our listeners hearing this is going to really be able to help someone who's thinking about, dating someone who isn't from their race, and that it could work, in their lives in real life. So we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, I would love for you guys to give us some of what you would call like success tips that you would give a couple. Okay.
Now, a delicious word.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making French toast. Now, this is a great dish if you are looking for something sweet to eat, and if you're like me and you can have breakfast at any point in the day. So we're going to get started by making our French toast batter, and we're going to get a container that's wide enough to dip our slices of bread into. So once you have that container, we're just going to pour some milk into the bottom of it, just enough to cover the bottom of the container. I'm using a vanilla flavored unsweetened cashew milk, but you can use regular milk if you like. And then I'm going to sprinkle some cinnamon into that, add 1 egg, and stir that in. And then sometimes I like to add a little bit of nutmeg, just a sprinkle, to curb the taste of the French toast, but it's not necessary. So we're going to just stir that up, that batter. And once you have that mixed, you can heat up your pan. I'm using a nonstick pan, and I'm also going to just spray the pan with some olive oil, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. And then once my pan is hot, I'm going to take my slices of bread And I'm using a whole grain white bread, but you can pick something of your choice. I've done this with wheat before, whole grain, whatever you'd like to try. And then I'm going to take my slices and then dip them in the batter. And I just kind of flip them twice in the batter just to make sure I've got the whole thing covered, the whole slice of bread covered. And I'm going to drop that into my pan. And I'm cooking 2 slices at a time. And I think it took maybe about like 6 minutes or so just to cook the whole thing. But what you'll see is the bread will get brown on each side. You can, once it's brown on one side, you can flip it over and just let it cook to your liking. I like mine kind of golden brown. And after it's done cooking, you put it on your plate. And I'm going to add some powdered sugar to this. And then I'm also adding my butter now, just so you can have that nice buttery taste on the top. And today I'm going to try a bourbon maple dressing. A bourbon maple syrup. Yes, I've done it. And so, and today, that's what I'll try today. It's a little different flavor from the normal, general syrup. It adds a little bit more flavor to it. But give it a try and let me know what you think. I really enjoyed mine today. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. All right. Until next time. And we're back with Jada and Josiah, and we're having a great conversation about compromise, open-mindedness, and just seeing each other, which I love that phrase, seeing each other. So we want to know, guys, how did the proposal go down?
So last August, I had called her dad on the phone to ask. When I did, he said yes. And we had this whole discussion. It was great. But then from August until December is when I was planning it. Because I had that whole semester to think ahead and plan. But my plans kind of got ruined in November when COVID cases started spiking again. I knew everything was going to be closed. But I was able to talk to my friend who lives near Apple Hill in Sacramento. And he was able to find had friends who own a Christmas tree farm that was, although it was closed, he'd get us in there. So I had planned for us to meet him at Apple Hill. We're going to go meet him at Apple Hill. She thought that we were just going to hang out.
Yeah.
And I had tricked her because I was told her later in that week we were going on a special date. Because she knew in her mind that I was going to propose that week.
Okay.
Because it was the only week we were going to be back in California together with her family. So we are driving that day to Apple Hill, and we stopped to get coffee. And after we stopped to get coffee, Jada's holding it, and then she spills it all over herself. I don't know how. She just spills the coffee all over her pants, and she's all upset. We end up getting a new coffee, but her pants are soaked with coffee.
And the rental car.
Yeah, and it was a rental car, so she was mad that it was the rental car that I rented, but I told her it'd be fine. It doesn't matter. We finally get to the Christmas tree farm, and we're starting to walk up this hill where I thought I had some of my friends set up a blanket and some pillows. So we're going to try to go up there to, surprise her. And I had to almost convince her to walk up this hill with the Christmas trees. Eventually she did. And when we got there, you can tell that part.
Okay, well, this is the thing. So I had spilled coffee all over myself. My pants were wet. My behind was wet. And he was like, let's walk around. And I was like, we can wait for our friend in the car. I'm not getting out of the car. So then he just gets out the car anyway. And I'm like, where are you going? And he's like, let's walk around. I'm like, my pants are soaked and it's cold. I'm not going anywhere. And so then he's dragging me up this hill. And then I was just like, are we supposed to be walking in these trees like this? This isn't our property. We should just wait somewhere else. And then I see a setup with a blanket and pillows and a sign. And then I was just like, uh-oh, I think this is someone's area. We should probably go. And he's like, or it's our area. And I was like, what? And then I saw a man in the bushes with a camera. And I was like, there's a man in the bushes with a camera. And then I don't know what happened. I was just so discombobulated, and like I started laughing, which probably isn't the reaction, the guy wants as he's on his knee asking you to marry him. But like, it was just so hilarious that I was having a tantrum about the coffee and being uncomfortable and sad. And he was trying to lead me to the spot. I was just like, this is hilarious. This whole situation is hilarious.
So, Josiah, you had a blanket and pillows. You got on your knees on the blanket, and then the photographer was there. Is that what was going on?
Yeah. So he was supposed to be behind a tree to like take surprise pictures, but I wasn't given good directions, I want to say, of where this location was at. They had set it up before I got there. And so I had to find it, and I walked the wrong way. So we walked right by the photographer where he was supposed to be hiding.
That is hilarious. Okay. That is so funny.
But it worked because I was able to get down on one knee and ask. And she said yes. And then after I put the ring on her, she asked me, did you just propose? So I took off the ring, and then I had to try it again.
So I had 2 proposals.
Was the first one like an outer body experience, and so you had to replay?
Yeah, I think I was just like, I was looking at the photographer the entire time. I don't know why I was looking at him. I don't know what happened. I just was.
Yeah, I love it. I love how you were like, oh, this is someone's area. We need to get out. We need to get out of their way.
We shouldn't be here. This is not our property.
That is hilarious.
That's so good.
Wow. So you guys have a date for the wedding yet?
Yes, we do. It's going to be in July.
Yay.
My birthday month. Yay.
Woohoo. And where are you getting married? In California?
Yeah, it's going to be in Sacramento at our family's church up there.
Nice. So you guys seem like you're real successful right now, and I know you got a lot of life ahead. But I would love for you to give some tips and things that people can think about in how to navigate their relationship. Like, what would you say would be like? First of all, what would be a challenge you would say for you guys, and then how did you guys overcome the challenge? I know y'all got some challenges now.
Well, for me, I think, because, we're obviously not perfect and it's really difficult. I think communication is always just super important. And how you communicate, how you listen specifically. So something I'm working on, like I was talking about a little bit before, is like how you can lovingly listen to someone. Listen to them without assumptions, without judgment, without thinking you already know what they're saying or how they're thinking. And so for me with Josiah, I have to really I've learned to be patient, especially when we're talking about race issues and politics, is to not just assume because he's white that he means this and get defensive. Because sometimes I can automatically get defensive and it just kind of kicks in of like, oh, this is a white man trying to tell me, and I'm just like, okay, Jada, calm down. This is Josiah. This isn't some random person. So I think for me, that's been the biggest challenge. And then just always just keeping God at the center of the relationship and praying, because I'm imperfect and I'm never going to be the perfect person for him. And so just leaning on God's support and help so that I can love him the way he deserves to be loved. Which I can't do in my own power at all. Yeah. But God's love is perfect. So
yeah. I think you said a few big things that we want to hear from you, Josiah. One is that you've learned to lovingly listen. I mean, there's a thing from hearing someone, to me, means you just let them talk, and now I'm about to say my stuff, But listening is trying to hear them. But I like how you added lovingly listening to them, because then it adds a different layer of I'm trying to not just listen to you, but I'm trying to feel what you're feeling too. So I think as a couple, that is invaluable, to be able to listen. And then you said communication, and it seems like to me, Josiah he's not as much of a communicator as you are, Jada. Is that true? Or is that just?
Well, how would you say? I mean, I'm very talkative.
No, but when we discuss things, I talk about you more than you do.
That's true.
So I have to do the same as listen as well. But yeah. I don't know how to answer the question.
I think it's just different communication styles too.
Yeah.
And understanding that, and just giving space for each other. And so like, if knowing like, okay, Jada, if I've been talking this entire time, am I opening up space and being silent? Silence is also communication in a way. Being silent so you can offer space for the other person to be able to feel like they can say something and feel supported in how they feel.
Yeah.
I don't know, but just, we're learning a lot. I think this whole, especially being engaged, and just how you can probably speak on that too, being engaged is so stressful. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, marriage, being engaged, like being in love. And it is great and it's beautiful, but there's so much stress that goes into really bringing two opposite different people into one. Yeah. And we're kind of at that, those growing pains of just forging this union, and it's not easy. It's difficult of just fitting those parts together. And so I feel like Josiah is so patient with me, because I get stressed out very easily and can be like, ah. So yeah, it's beautiful, but it's definitely challenging.
Yeah. Thank you for being honest about that, because, on Instagram and Facebook and TV, you see people are like, they show the ring. Mm-hmm. And you see the beautiful wedding dress, and we just go off into the sunset. But a lot of it, like you said, is this whole forging together these two, people, backgrounds, families, forging them all together. So that is huge. I'm going to steal this, lovingly listen. I just think that, and apply it to my own life. I just think that's huge.
I'm still working on it.
Say it again.
I said, I'm still working on it too. So
yeah, it's a big one, because we get in our feelings and our heads, about stuff, and just go for it. So Josiah, what about you? What would you say would be some successes you would give to someone, or things that you would tell someone?
Tell someone. I would say the biggest thing is giving the other person your time. For us, it was we did a lot of our summers and a couple semesters, I think, long distance as well, either from Sacramento and Atascadero from where I live. It's like a 4-hour drive. We did a semester where she was here in Kansas City and I was in California. So basically giving each other time would be like just being there for them, being like available for calls, because we both had busy lives, but we were always able to like be available when the other person needed us. So like scheduled times we would talk. Even when we're together too, we're both, right now I'm working evenings and she's got school during the day. But we always find time to hang out, find time to do things for each other. So I think that would be my biggest thing, I'd say.
Yeah.
Do you know what your love languages are?
Yeah, mine is definitely quality time. So okay. I think Josiah definitely has to put up the name. And I think that's truly what helped preserve our relationship, is just him being so in tune to that. And knowing that's how I feel loved, and especially being in long distance relationship, like him visiting me like almost every month. Did you? Yeah, I think so. He came to visit me every month, like flying out to Kansas City to see me, so that way I still felt a connection despite the time difference in our busy schedules, because that is how I feel loved, is when someone's able to take time to just be with me. So
how about you, Josiah?
Oh, go ahead.
Just saying, what his love language was.
Oh, I don't know if I believe in those.
Okay.
I don't know. You said mine.
Yeah, I feel like his is quality time. His is like acts of service. I feel like when you, for me, Like how you, because there's ways that you like to receive love and then ways you show love. And sometimes the way you show love is opposite to what the other person wants. So there's like different things that people lean into. But I feel like definitely quality time, words of affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in that stuff.
You know, but I was just like, I know what makes you smile.
That's the best answer. Dang, I forgot. No, I was gonna say though that the quality time, I think what's important about that is now everybody is busy, or you know, at least even right before COVID, everybody was super busy. But that is what makes you like also feel secure, I think, for anyone. Is when someone can spend time with you, is available for phone calls. That's such a basic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think so many relationships are ruined because someone didn't answer the phone, and now there's all these hypotheses about what they're doing because they're not answering the phone, they're not responding. So I think that's super basic, but so important, whether your love language is quality time or not. So thanks for saying that. And then also, like, I think for you two, what is cool to watch is I think you both probably have like your needs that you were clear on. Like Jada, you mentioned like, I just wanted to be seen. But also you're very careful and intentional about how you give too. And so I love the balance that you two have on that, because I see people often either way, like, I'm going to show up and be the best wife ever and and then they lack on, you know, getting their needs, or people are very adamant about what they have to have in a relationship and they forget about what they're going to give. And you two seem to have a really good balance of both. It's pretty impressive.
Good. Well, you guys have been fantastic to talk to, so this is really good. So tell people where they can find you, like their socials and all that.
Oh, okay. I was like, you can find me?
Like, what's my address? Give us your phone number. No.
Okay. I'm like, well, they know we're in Missouri, so that's one. Okay, well, you can follow me on Facebook at Jada Smith. And then my Instagram is Jada Levon, and I'm sure it will be linked.
It will be.
Okay.
How about you, Josiah?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook, Josiah Mort. Yeah. Yeah. Should be my name. On Instagram, Josiah_Mort 2.
Cool.
You can see everything.
Good. Yeah, well, I can't wait for this wedding. It's going to be fantastic. Our family is going to be coming out there to support you guys. So we're excited about that. So cool. So Roxy, tell our people where they can find us.
Yes, you can find us at Chat and Chew Show on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe and also click the bell to get notifications when we have new episodes. And other than that, thanks for coming.
Thank you. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
This episode is brought to you by the Chat and Chew Company. Host Betty Jones, co-host Roxanne Brew, producer Vanessa Outland, and music by Elwood Jones.